so I'm a little disappointed with how that meeting went. I was hoping she could give me something on how to actually get rid of it. She did say one thing. She said I had to stop communicating with it, so that means no more knocking or talking to it. She said it's something that people in her field call a parasite. So it's like a demon in the fact that it feeds off of negative feelings and energy. Now, I know, it sounds ridiculous, but after everything you've seen, is it really that impossible? She asked if I was religious. I said, other than this, I wasn't religious at all, and I didn't belong to any particular church. She said sometimes if you're religious, doing a cleansing or an exorcism can help, but sometimes if you're not, it can make it worse. So basically, I waited all that time, and she was useless. I went to Dan's. I don't know if he's even been back since I last went there. His car's still not there, his door's still unlocked, his place looks exactly the same, and I swear I heard footsteps following me, but there was no sign of him. So my crust is feeling really hot, like way too hot, unnaturally hot. I have to put it down. Crust got even hotter, so I lowered it into a glass of cold water and it sizzled. Here, I'll show you again.
So for this effect here, we just held a lighter to the cross for a little bit until it heated up, but without making it turn black. And then we dipped it into the cold water, so it made a little bit of this sizzle. And I think it's enough. Like if we had it boiling, I think it, like I said earlier, it would have been just too over the top, and it would have made it less effective. This seems more real.
It did it more last time. A couple of new updates. First off, I called my mom because I was lonely, and a man answered. Now, that in itself isn't that big of a deal. Maybe she got a new boyfriend and he answered her phone for her. But what was scary was that he sounded exactly like my dad. My dad who died when I was 12. The second thing is the crust. Remember when I put it in the water and it sizzled? What the hell is that?
So for this, we put some black paint into the water and then mixed it to its desired darkness, and it worked.
It doesn't smell like anything. I don't know if that's good or bad. It must mean it doesn't like the cross, so I think I'll keep wearing it. Guess we're at war now. I got another job interview! It's for a receptionist position at a office. It's pretty close to here on Calgary Trail. Okay, no word from Dan, obviously. And I got a text from Melinda asking if I was outside her house last night, which I wasn't. I'm almost starting to detest this melodrama more than the haunting. Almost. Okay, that was a hard interview. Probably the hardest I've ever had. They kept asking me scenario questions like, what would you do if you were dealing with a customer who started to become abusive and stuff like that? Kind of makes me wonder what kind of job I'm applying for.
That actually happened to me like when I was really young. I applied for a job at McDonald's, and honestly that was probably the hardest job interview I've ever had. They had just like so many questions like that with like, what would you do in a situation like this, or like describe a situation where you had to use teamwork to overcome a problem, some of them were like, if you had an aggressive customer, how do you deal with that? Or if you felt threatened, how would you deal with that? And it's like, when you're like 16 or 17, it's kind of with very little work experience, it's kind of hard to answer questions like that. So that's kind of what inspired me just to write that little bit.
They told me that they have lots of other people to interview and that they'd contact me. So I guess I'll just wait. And Blythe texted me. She asked me how I was doing. Like, you know what you put me through, you bitch?
It's kind of funny how, like, obviously we haven't seen Blythe's side of the story yet, but she's going through something very similar to Genesis. Like, her life is falling apart too, so she's probably equally as lonely and losing all her friends. So she's trying to reevaluate everything, and she's like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't have been so mean to Genesis. Maybe I should try to reach out to her and kind of restart the friendship, because they both need someone in their lives.
Part of me wants to contact her and ask her if she's responsible for this hell that I'm going through, and the other part of me knows I should keep my distance. I just got a message from Dan. It says, "We should meet." That's it. So I replied, "Where?" He said, "Parking lot of St. Patty's, 11 p.m. That's the bar where we first met. But it's a strange place to meet, in the parking lot, not in the bar. I had this little voice in my head screaming, "Don't go!" But I have to. He's my friend, and I need to know what's going on out of sheer morbid curiosity.
So that kind of shows Genesis's character. It's like, yeah, I'm sure part of her does care about Dan, obviously, and she's like worried about why he's acting so weird. But I think a large part of it too is just like she said, her morbid curiosity. She just wants to know why he's acting so weird. It's not so much like that. Like part of it's that she's concerned, but the other part is that she just wants to know for her own curiosity. She has those two sides to her personality. She's not all good.
11:20.
So this was filmed at the Petro-Canada gas station that was like just across the street from my apartment building. We just waited till dark and then we're out behind the gas station filming.
I've been waiting here for 20 freaking minutes and there's no sign of Dan. I've texted and called him, nothing. Is that him?
That's me standing there.
Some dude's staring at me from the other side of the parking lot. Pretty creepy, dude, whoever you are. Well, I'm pretty sure that wasn't him, but I don't feel safe out here anymore, so I'm gonna go.
Okay, I was awoken this morning by a phone call. I got the job. Oh, yay for me. I start the day after tomorrow. Money problems? Bye-bye. Ooh, cooped up in this apartment 24/7? Bye-bye. New friends? Hopefully. This seems like a new start. Okay, guys. This is how bad my social situation has gotten. So I had this friend, Tamara. We weren't really that close, but we were kind of friends when I started school. So we haven't really talked any...
So that was just me on the ground back there opening that door.
in the last, year or so. Anyway, so I wanted to go out and celebrate and have...
And also a lot of these things, like with Tamara, our friend, like that she alludes to here, I go into a bit more detail in the I'm Haunted book that I wrote. Like I turned basically this movie into it's kind of like in the form of a journal where instead of a vlog, she's just like writing in her diary each day about all the stuff happening to her. So that book's available on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description if anyone wants to buy it.
some actual human contact, so I messaged her and asked her if she wanted to go out tonight. And she said she was busy. Then just now, she posted this on Facebook.
So there we have Omar Abu Bakr on the left there. You might recognize him as Hector. He was the guy in the hot box that at first the goth girls, when they were on mushrooms, and they thought that he was a serial killer. So that's him. And that's Ashu Kitu there. And then, of course, Griffin Cork here in the middle, who plays Mike. And then there's Sarah Louise and Kylie Zawada.
She went to the frickin' bar. That's what she meant by being busy. Like, why couldn't she invite me? There were a bunch of people there. Even Mike, Blythe's ex-boyfriend. I don't see why I couldn't tag along. Like, is there seriously something that wrong with me? People are such assholes sometimes. Except you guys. You guys are awesome.
So that cabinet you just saw closed there. Earlier I opened this door and then I just crawled on my hands and knees and went behind the couch. And then I stood up, and we actually planned this out because it was kind of hard to do. But basically, before this opens, I'm actually standing right there, but her shoulder and hair is blocking me. So I just grabbed the cabinet by the bottom and then closed it, so you don't actually see me there. I think we had to do it a few times until we can get it that you couldn't see me, because I wanted to make it as realistic as possible. So if she was totally blocking it, it would look like we were cheating. So we were like, how much of the cabinet can we show right before you see me standing there holding it, and I think it worked. But let's watch that again.
Blythe's ex-boyfriend. I don't see why I couldn't tag along. Like, is there seriously something that wrong with me? People are such assholes sometimes. Except you guys. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, that worked pretty well.
Go away. I'm ignoring you. Anyway, so I was thinking, maybe I should just go down to the bar. Okay, they're leaving.
So this was filmed at Liz's Homestyle Grill. It no longer exists, but it was right across the street from the apartment I lived in before, the one you see in this movie. It's downtown Edmonton on Jasper Ave and 90th Street, I think it is. And Liz was super cool. She let us film a few things in there. I was actually there one time. It was when we were filming Mental Case, which was kind of one of the first projects I did. And I was there with Brandon Rhiness, who was the star and my co-producer on Mental Case. And we were trying to find a place where we could film a bar scene in Mental Case. And the one we were supposed to shoot in, for whatever reason, they backed out. So while we were sitting there, I was like, you know what? Like, I wonder if this place would let us film here because it's convenient. It's right across the street from my apartment. So we asked the waitress if we could talk to the owner. So the owner came out, and it was Liz, and we told her what we were doing, and she was very supportive and let us film there. And then we ended up filming a few different things there. So it's a big thanks to her for allowing us to do that. And here we have Mike there on the left, who we find out later he's being haunted because Blythe is being haunted, and then Mike went into her apartment because he is Blythe's ex. And then Sarah Louise here, who plays June, she also went in there and she's getting haunted. And here we just have another instance of Genesis doing questionably more immoral things, like she's hiding out across the street, like filming these people without their knowledge. Like it's kind of stalkerish behavior.
Bunch of assholes. Who's that girl? Is that Mike's new girlfriend or something? Looks like she's a bitch to him too. So, I decided I'm going to celebrate with or without other members of the human race. So, I went out and bought myself a bottle of wine.
And it just shows like her slow descent into madness, how she's like losing her friends and she's like spying on other people that are like hanging out together instead of actually like socializing with them. And now she's just drinking by herself and like while she's alone, and also she's like kind of proud of that fact. Just shows that like things aren't going to get any better.
And I'm going to sit here and enjoy it. And no one is going to stop me. Anyone watching is welcome to join me to my new job. Hi guys, drinking a whole bottle of wine by yourself doesn't make you an alcoholic, does it? What if you give up on using a glass after the second one and just drink straight from the bottle? No? I'm good?
That fan there, I think you see that fan in some other movies too. I always sleep with a fan right next to me. Just something about the sound of it and the wind blowing on my face. I have a hard time sleeping without a fan.
Okay, good to know. I found this video on Tamara's profile.
Say hi, everybody. Hi. Come on, guys. Hi. Come on.
Cheer it up.
Remember that scene? It was kind of hard to film. It wasn't hard to film it, but to set it up, because Griffin, who plays Mike, is he's a very busy guy. So, and I'm pretty sure, I don't know if he lives in Calgary or he was in Calgary at that time, and it was so hard to get him available. And there was only like, in whatever month that was, there was like one evening in the entire month that he had free to be able to film that. So we basically had to like work around his schedule and film that part right there. So, but it was very, very nice of him to do that. We actually did an interview with him. Faisal and I interviewed him for our podcast. So that video is available on this channel as well. And everyone should watch that because Griffin's got a very successful career.
That's Mike, Blythe's ex. What's wrong with him? So, my car has been stolen.
I just went to the parking lot, and lo and behold, my parking spot's empty.
So for that, at this time I didn't actually own a vehicle, so we just went into the parking lot and then found an empty spot.
I called the police, and they said that they'd be over as soon as they can. Awesome.
They found my car. It was parked a half a block away. I have no idea how it got there.
That's my building, and this is where my car is parked.
All I can think is my disembodied friend, but I'd have to see that one to believe it.
So my theory is that it wasn't actually Sear that stole the car. It was just Genesis did it herself and then forgot about it.
Quick morning update before work.
The actual what inspired that was one time I used to work at this restaurant, and it was my very first day of work, and I remember I was happy because I got the part. It was at West Edmonton Mall, and I got the parking spot that was right next to the door. I just lucked out and got a really close parking spot, and I was happy about that. So I went in, and then after my shift, I went out and my car was gone, and I was like, "Oh shit, my car's been stolen." So I went back in and I had to tell the manager, "Yeah, my car's stolen," and he actually called the police. And it was only after he'd called the police that I remembered, oh crap! I remember on my lunch break, I went back to my car and then drove to fill up with gas, and then parked in a different spot. So my car was actually just 8 parking spots down from where it was before, and I forgot about that, and then I felt like such an idiot. So we had to call the police back and tell them that it actually wasn't stolen. And of course that was my first day of work, so that kind of got brought up by people for the entire time I worked there.
I thought I put my clothes in the basket last night, but now they're lying on the floor. But again, I can't really remember, so I'm just going to assume it was me and just get ready for work.
Okay, work was pretty good. It's always awkward your first day. You don't know anyone, you don't know where anything is, you feel pretty much useless. But it was actually pretty okay. The people there seem really nice.
That's Oliver. Oliver!
That's Julio Mateo as Oliver. And this office was one of our main crew, Sam Au, who actually plays the boss here, you'll see in a bit. I'm pretty sure it's where he worked at the time. And we just waited until early evening when everyone had cleared out, and then we went in there and filmed this, and I just kind of added some background noise that sounds like there's other people there. And I feel bad for Julio too, because when we filmed this, we met at a Tim Hortons. I think it was in City Center Mall or something. And we met there, and then we just walked over to this building that was downtown to film this. And while we were there, Julio all of a sudden remembered that he left his jacket in the Tim Hortons. So after it wasn't until we were finished filming that he remembered that. So we went back to the Tim Hortons, and of course his jacket was gone. And then he checked his credit card statement, and someone had been using his credit cards. So he lost his wallet, and I think he had his car keys in there and everything, and someone was using his credit card. So he was on the phone. He had to call his wife to come get him, and then he was trying to call to cancel his credit cards, and it was obviously a very stressful situation. It felt kind of bad that he was coming down and doing this, and then something horrible happened, but he got it all sorted out.
Nice.
And again, this shows Genesis isn't doing anything necessarily wrong here, but it is her first day of work, and then she's filming people and kind of bothering them while they're trying to work. Just shows that maybe she's not the best employee.
What you doing?
I'm working. Bye.
Bye. This time, it definitely wasn't me. When I went to the store, these books were in the bookshelf in my bedroom, and now they're stacked on my coffee table. I was just sitting on the couch, watching TV, when I swear to fucking God, I heard a voice whisper, "Come here," from down the hall. Oh God, this is freaky.
You can see in the background on my bed there, those yellow things. Those are, instead of using a slate, since we didn't really have any like separately recorded audio for this. We didn't need the slate, so we just wrote the scene numbers on little colored index cards, and we kind of left them strewn about my apartment sometimes. And the odd time, like here, you could actually see them in the background.
Okay. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god. Oh, fuck. Okay. It must have been nothing. Might have just been somebody talking out in the hall.
Thanks.
You got more of Oliver here.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Do you like being on camera?
Okay, I guess. Kind of.
How long have you worked here?
3 years and change, I'd say.
Yeah? You like it?
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, everybody's been nice to me, and I guess I've been doing pretty well.
You live nearby?
Closer to the north side.
I just got off work. You have to hear this. My mom called and she left a message. Listen, I hope you can hear this.
And we filmed this in a parking lot. There's some kind of it's not like a doctor's office, but I think it was some sort of medical building or something. That's basically, it's actually, where I moved to, where I live now, it's like a block away, but that was a little bit further back from at this point here when we filmed this. But we just needed an empty parking lot, and we were trying to do everything as close as possible to the main shooting location at the apartment, so we didn't have to drive very far. So we just picked this place because we can go around the back and be somewhat shielded from the traffic.
Hi, Genesis. Call.
It sounds like my dad, but on my mom's phone. I tried calling back, but there was no answer, and her mailbox is full. Shit. Another cop car just drove by. I don't know if I'm being paranoid, but I think they're following me. I'm starting to see cop cars everywhere.
I wonder if Blythe has something to do with all this. Or Melinda. Or Dan. Or my mom. Fuck!
I think my mom's ignoring me too. She was always really good at returning text messages or phone calls the day of or the next day.
Kind of makes you want to see more of the story from other people's point of view, because I'm wondering if a lot of it was Genesis's fault. Because, we get to see her point of view and she makes it look like everyone else is the enemy, but also if you're having fights and with everyone in your life, maybe you're the one that's the problem and it's not always them. And we don't get to see that much of Genesis's life here. We get like a peek into her life, but also she is technically performing for the internet, so she's going to do whatever she can to make herself look good and cast herself in a positive light, so she's not going to admit to the bad stuff she does. As we've seen with Oliver, like, she's friendly with him, but she is kind of annoying. She's coming up to him while he's trying to work during work hours and like filming him and asking him questions, which might be, when you just meet someone, you might put up with that for a little bit, but it could be kind of annoying over the long term. So it could be that she's partly to blame for the breakdown of all her relationships.
At most. But she still hasn't replied. I heard people at work talk about going out for drinks, which is really good news if they hang out outside of work, because maybe I can go along with them and meet some new friends. Oh shit. What the fuck is going on?
Genesis?
Oh, hi. Is your power out?
There's Marika Gossick, who plays Mrs. Pearson, who comes to be an important part to the story.
No.
Oh, mine just shut off all of a sudden.
Oh, call the emergency maintenance.
Oh yeah, right.
Okay. Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so the power's back on. Hopefully it was just a maintenance issue, and hopefully it doesn't happen again. Also, maybe I'm just being nosy, but where was Mrs. Pearson going? It's 1:30 in the morning. She must have a more exciting life than me. Just for the hell of it, I left my camera running in the living room all day while I was at work, just to see if I could catch anything. And check this out.
It's kind of funny. We got another appearance of Ghost Boy there. It looks like we sped it up, like when he popped his head out and then pops it back. It looks like we sped it up a bit, but we didn't.
Just to see
Watch
if I
it
could
again.
catch anything. And check this out.
Yeah, there was for a while there. I was debating whether or not having the Ghost Boy in there was too much, like if it was just too ridiculous. But I ultimately kept him in there. I think I cut the part out. There's a part in the original videos where Genesis is going down the stairwell in her building, and then Ghost Boy's there and chases her up the stairs. I haven't watched this movie in a while. I'm pretty sure I cut that part out and just kept these in there. But if you want to watch the original videos, you'll see some stuff that's not in here. And it's this in the background here. You could see this like yellow cloth that's taped to the wall. It's actually covering a vent, and it was insanely loud. It was funny because when I first moved in, probably for the first 6 months or so, the vent wasn't turned on, so I didn't notice it. All of a sudden, one day the vent's going, and it's like a damn lawnmower or something going on. Like it was so loud. So I go and I asked the landlord, like, is there something wrong? And they're like, oh no, it's just it'd been shut off for 6 months, and now they just turned it on. And it was so loud that even just trying to sit there watching TV was a distraction. So I just covered it with a cloth like that, and basically just kept that there like all the time, just so we could actually like hear in the building. So I don't know what the purpose of that was, but you can also see it's got that like, kind of like dark stain on it, because that was the shape of the vent. And for a while, after a while, it would start to get dirty, and then I'd have to like take the cloth down and wash it, and then put a new one up.
Okay, look at this. Is that guy looking up at my apartment?
And that's Riley Andrews. He's actually the real life son of Gay Andrews, who plays Genesis's mom in this. And you might also remember Riley from Hot Box. He was the P guy's best friend, like the guy that was trying to get the urine sample so he could pass the drug test. It was that guy's best friend.
What is it with freaky dudes staring at me? Is this paranormal related or just creepy ass stalker dude related?
And kind of my theory of why all these weird guys are coming to her house, or coming like to her apartment, is that like somehow she's the epicenter of, like, Sear focused on her and she's the epicenter of everything, which that story kind of continues on in the next couple of movies. So these guys are they're half possessed or all the way possessed, and for whatever reason they just are all, for like outside of their own control, they're coming to Genesis's house for like really no intention. They're just drawn to her for some reason. And you see that a bit in part 2 when that Kevin guy comes over to Bailey's house, because Bailey's an important part of it too. So it's kind of like once the evil focuses in on someone, everyone else is kind of drawn to them.
Doesn't look like the same guy from the St. Patty's parking lot. Think I should wave at him? Hello, weird dude. Wave back at me. No, buddy, don't come towards me. Oh, shit. Is he coming up here? Oh, my God. Maybe he lives in the building? Oh, my God, why did I have to wave? Shit. Oh, my God. Fuck. Oh. Oh, come on, Genesis.
He doesn't know you. He can't know where you live.
And again, crazy dude number 1 didn't know where I lived either. Oh, shit. Can't take this. Even if he wanted to come in, he has to be buzzed in. If he has a key, it means he lives here, right?
And also, just in these somewhat kind of suspenseful moments, I did debate putting music in here. Remember, I talked about that with a few people, and I kind of went back and forth of whether or not there should be a score to this movie, and then I kind of debated I could do 2 versions, one with music, one without. But I ultimately decided not to have music. I think it would have detracted from it because, I mean, it's supposed to be, found footage. So it's supposed to be real. So I figured that just adding music would make it seem like too much of a movie, and then it would kind of cheapen it a bit.
Why am I still watching this? Oh, fuck! Oh, shit! Oh my god! Okay, I need to call the cops. I don't know how long he was outside my apartment for. I hid in the bathroom when I called the cops, and of course, when they showed up, he was gone. So, I don't know. He was saying something while he was outside my apartment, but I couldn't make out what he was saying. The cops searched the whole neighborhood, but couldn't find him. I told them about that other guy I saw in the hall, and they said that they talked to building security because they're the ones who dealt with that case. Like, seriously, is this even paranormal? Like, was the boy a ghost and the older man real, or are they all ghosts? Like, what the fuck is going on?
That kind of brings up it's kind of like an ongoing theme in the movie, even up until part 3, where there's a part where Crazy Dave shows up at Willow's house in part 3, and he's just like, oh, is Gwen here? Then he looks at her through the window, and people ask about that, and it's like, I try to leave it open-ended. It's like, is he a ghost, or is he like a possessed person, or is it just some strange guy that showed up at her house? Because if something like this was happening to you, all of a sudden, like, everything would be suspect. Like, you'd be questioning everything, and I tried to make it different than normal horror movies where, like, things just aren't explained. So it's like, yeah, like, is the boy a ghost, and are the guys knocking on our door, are they ghosts, or are they just like other people, or some of them ghosts? Like, you would start questioning everything, and then all of a sudden everyone who called you or talked to you, everything would just, you'd be wondering about everything, and it would definitely heighten your sense of paranoia.
Look.
That was obviously me walking around out there. I think we just dragged like a desk lamp or something and put it right outside the door to give that bit of light, and then I just walked back and forth.
What do I do? Is it a ghost or is it real? I better get this on camera. Gotta be brave. Can't let this thing scare me. So that means it was a ghost then? The silver lining is that ghosts can't hurt you. Human beings can.
I was pretty much a zombie at work all today, which sucked. Oliver is coming over tomorrow night to watch a movie, so we'll see how that goes.
I came home and found this on the video.
We have another appearance of Ghost Girl. So I kind of like the idea that people are just going to wonder about that. Like, it could be that Ghost Girl and Ghost Boy are siblings. I mean, that would make sense. Or it could, like, in my theory, it's just like Seer is just taking different forms to just like torment Genesis. I think Seer even says later that that's him. But I kind of just like leaving people wondering who they are. I find it scary when things happen and you don't understand what it is. Like, if everything's explained and has a reason and a motivation, it makes it less scary.
How about you just fuck off, little girl?
And I don't know what that person was talking about. Someone was on YouTube or somewhere. Someone was commenting that you could see men's clothing in the closet, which is obviously mine because it was my closet. But I'm pretty sure there's only that one part where you see like one men's dress shirt, but the rest of it, this looks like female clothing. So I don't know if that person was just being super picky or what.
Oliver, say hi.
Hi. How come you're always filming me?
What, don't like the attention?
It's kind of funny too, like Oliver seems like he's very friendly, but he's always like he's trying to hide his annoyance with her a bit. It's like, why are you filming me? Like, I'm trying to work. So it's obviously like he accepted an invitation to come over, so he's like, obviously likes Genesis to a certain degree, but it just seems like he's like, if this friendship went on for longer than it did, like he would probably start to get really annoyed with her.
I feel like a movie star.
Well, that pretty much went horribly. We just watched a movie and we were sitting on the couch talking. He just went to the bathroom and then suddenly came out saying he has to go because he works in the morning. We work at the same place, in case anyone forgot. And he just ran all the way to his car. Like, what the fuck? It's like everybody's been driven out of my life lately. What's that?
That was just some sound effect that I found online somewhere.
What the hell? Nothing out of the ordinary. Must have been outside, I guess.
Okay, check this out. That wasn't there when I got in the shower. Like, is it trying to spell die, but it's just a bad speller? Like, what the fuck?
It might just be the thing trying to communicate with me, which I'm not supposed to respond to.
See, my thinking is that Seer is... It's like he can manifest himself physically a little bit, but maybe it just takes up too much of his energy or something. So sometimes he can write or type or even like have his voice come out, or even as we see later on, he can like grab Genesis, but he can't do it like too much because maybe he doesn't have enough energy or whatever. I kind of left it unexplained, like I said, just to kind of make it scarier. So you kind of never know like how much power he actually has, because sometimes you could hear his voice, sometimes he could touch her, other times he can't. So it could be that like he only has so much energy to do that, or it could just be the whatever world he's in, the laws of physics are different, so he, it just doesn't quite translate into this world. So his level of power seems to kind of change. Because I mean, if he wanted to harm Genesis, he could just appear and just choke her, but he just doesn't. For some reason that is like not understood by us, he's unable to do that.
So I didn't. Anyways, I'm off to work now. Hopefully things aren't too awkward with Oliver.
Work was weird. Oliver avoided me the whole day. Like, I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything to offend him, so something must have happened to him last night.
And here we have Mrs. Pearson, who's acting strangely. Kind of like she hears something coming from Genesis's apartment.
That was Mrs. Pearson. What the hell is that about?
I thought maybe I'd go and ask her, but she'd probably find it was weird that I was filming her, and she'd probably tell the landlord. Great. Just the utensil drawer opening on its own, again. It's funny how I just get so desensitized to this kind of stuff that it seems normal.
So, I was just eating supper, and I came back into my room, and look. If it's gonna rip the sheets off of my bed, it might as well just do the fucking laundry. Just suddenly got really cold in here. And quiet. What the hell is going on? That was weird. Oh, fuck! I looked out my bedroom window and saw this scary-looking woman floating there.
Obviously, if we had the ability, it would have been cool if we could have gotten the video of the Krega, the scary witch, floating in the window, but obviously with our budget limitations, we were unable to do that.
She looked like the witch from Snow White or something. It scared the shit out of me. Couldn't have been a real woman looking in either, because I'm on the 13th floor.
And then we got Sam Au there on the left talking to Oliver. Sam is one of our co-producers on our movie, and he actually worked in this building here where we were filming.
Oliver's talking with the boss. Wonder what they're talking about. I was late for work this morning. I got into shit. I didn't fall asleep till 5 a.m. and I forgot to set my alarm. I better not get fired. Anyways, I drew a picture of what that scary woman looked.
So that picture there was drawn by Travis Martinez, who is one of the comic book artists who used to work for me when I was making comic books. He drew probably his biggest one that people are aware of. He drew the boy with a balloon for a head. So I just reached out to him and I sent him a picture of Kathleen Skillen, who played Krega, and then just got him to make a scary drawing of her, and that's what he came up with.
Like, imagine seeing this in your window in the middle of the night.
Oh my god. I was just taking a shower and a fucking hand came and pushed on the shower curtain and tried to fucking grab me. I could see fingers on it and everything. It touched me. Fuck.
That noise there, that was actually unscripted. Just like after you turn the shower on, it always like after a couple minutes, the little plug thing that you pull to turn the shower on, it would just always like pop out on its own and make that sound, which just kind of made Elizabeth jump here for real. Let's watch that again.
And tried to fucking grab me. I could see fingers on it and everything. It touched me. Fuck.
It was funny too. Well, I guess it wasn't funny, but while we were filming this, Elizabeth got a nosebleed, and I have like pictures of it. Her nose just started to bleed randomly, which was kind of weird. I really wanted to put that in the movie because it seemed like it would just be cool, but unfortunately she wasn't acting while she was doing it, and we were kind of talking and joking around, so it didn't work, and we couldn't put it in there. But it would have been cool if we could have.
This changes everything. It touched me. If it can touch me, it can hurt me. Oh. I think I'm gonna have to go to a priest. Oh, God. Did you hear that? I'm gonna go record this. Hold on.
Dan? Dan!
There we have the extremely brief appearance of Lee Lopez. You might recognize him in the first Grotesque movie. He was Mildred's sister's fiance, and after Mildred stabs her, he comes home and she asks him or wishes him well for the wedding or something like that. But that's Lee. And there he is.
Dan didn't attack me or anything. It was weird. He hugged me. And he had this look of sadness in his eyes. And then he just turned around and walked out. So I followed him, and I asked him what's going on, but he didn't say a word. I begged him to just say something. But he just got on the elevator and held his hand out to stop me from getting on.
So I think Dan probably, like the others, he probably had, because he's possessed, or partly possessed at this point. So he went to her house like the other guys did because he was drawn there. Or maybe he had some other purpose, but he was such good friends with Genesis that he had enough control over himself to like fight the possession, and so he just like gave her a hug and then left because he knew that he'd be a danger to her. So it's kind of good on Dan. We never find out what happened to him, but it probably wasn't good.
I remember a while ago I gave Dan a set of spare keys to my apartment just for emergencies, so I guess that explains on how he got in. Now I've changed my locks. There was also this brown mark on the wall, like a handprint. I got a picture of it.
So for that brown mark, we just put like a bit of some coffee grounds on a plate, and then put a bit of water in it to mix it together, and then I dipped my hand in it, and then made those handprints.
It washed off pretty easily. There's also, banging and knocking on the walls. Again. And, oh my goodness, I am just so fucking paranoid every time I go to take a shower. I just leave the shower curtain open now. I just jump in, rinse off, and jump out. So I woke up this morning and found this on my bed. I take this as a threat. If it can bring this into my room in the middle of the night, what's stopping it from stabbing me?
So I texted Blythe and asked her if she wanted to meet, and she texted back right away and said sure. So she's on her way over. This should be interesting.
There she comes. I'm so nervous. I have no idea how this is gonna go.
So I figure at this point, like, Genesis is just, the loneliness and isolation is really starting to get to her, so she's willing to rekindle her friendship with Blythe, even though, Blythe did some really horrible stuff. We'll see how horrible later. She's the one that cursed Genesis. But at this point, I think it gets into more detail in the book and stuff about all the harassment that Blythe was doing, but it looks like Genesis is willing to put up with it just because she just wants, like, anyone to hang out with.
How have you been?
Good as can be, I guess. How have you been? Not too good, I guess you could say.
And also, Genesis is, at this point, I think I cut out the part where she explains how she's secretly filming Blythe here, but she has her camera, like, kind of hidden behind some pillows or something over here, so that Blythe doesn't know she's being recorded, which kind of shows that Genesis is not the nicest person. Like, she's filming a conversation with someone without their knowledge. Like, it's kind of unethical, but Genesis is willing to kind of bend the rules just for her own benefit. Because at this point she was uploading these videos to YouTube, so she was probably just she didn't want to miss out on stuff like this because she wanted to tell this full story, but it's just another instance of her not being the nicest person.
Your apartment's haunted.
Yeah. You could say that.
Mine too.
Really?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
It was me. I did it. I was pissed off at you and I said a curse on you.
And it's kind of funny how, like, as we see, like, there's 3 I'm Haunted that's been released so far, and we're shooting part 4 and 5 coming up pretty quickly here in the next few weeks. We start, and the whole story basically started with Blythe here. Well, it kind of started with her and this Ted guy she mentioned. Like, if they just hadn't gone to the seance and done all this, none of it would have happened. And we see now that, like, it has far-reaching consequences.
What's been going on?
It was me. I did it. I was pissed off at you and I said a curse on you. Ted, the guy from the seance, he showed me how to do it.
That thing with the twigs?
Yeah, I put it in here. I snuck in when you went down to do laundry and you left your door unlocked. I'm sorry.
Was that my hair?
Yeah. I cut it off that time that you stayed at my house. You said you were getting your hair cut the next day, so I didn't think you'd notice.
It's kind of funny, though, like, because that means that basically this was premeditated. Because, like, I'm assuming either they were already kind of fighting at this point, and then Blythe was like, okay, I'm going to curse Genesis, I'm going to cut her hair off. But it kind of sounds more like this happened before the fight, because they were still hanging out. So it seems like Blythe cut Genesis' hair just in the event that she would need it at some point in the future. But then you find out later that it's hinted that Blythe was like a witch. She's into, like, witchcraft stuff. So it could be she's just like collecting hair and stuff from everyone she knows just to have that power over them, just in case they ever needed those personal items for some type of curse.
Well, I found it and I threw it in the river, but shit's still happening.
Getting rid of it won't help. I had to burn your hair and say your name and a bunch of other rituals.
And yeah, I had that burn your hair thing, which is never mentioned again as part of the ritual. So in the story world, I could imagine that she was just mistaken and she thought that the hair had to be burned when it didn't, and that's why they never do that in any of the other movies. But the real reason is I just forgot that I wrote that, and then I filmed the other ones, and I was like, oh yeah, burning the hair was supposed to be part of the ritual, but I was like, yeah, it's too late, so I just chalk it up to it's a mistake on Blythe's part.
Things. It basically releases the demon and it attaches itself to you.
It said it wasn't a demon.
It lies. But I don't think I did it right. Weird things have been happening at my house, so I think I released it on myself too. I don't know what it is or how to control it or get rid of it. It's been attacking me. Look.
Oh my god.
I've been trying everything to get rid of it, but nothing works. Sometimes I burn.
And yeah, those little glitches there, it was supposed to be like Seer was messing around with the camera, but it also gave me a cut point because originally the scene was much longer, and I wanted to cut it down, so I had it that, you see those little glitches in there that Seer is able to mess with electronic devices, as we see later on too.
Sage, and it makes it stop for a little bit, but it always comes back.
Okay, so can't you contact that Ted guy and ask him how to get rid of it?
I would, if he hadn't committed suicide.
Shit.
Yeah. Hung himself from a pipe in the basement of his parents' house.
So that, at the point that I wrote this, that was not intended to be expanded on at all. It was kind of like just a moment that Ted guy killed himself, and so they lost the one guy that knows how to get rid of the curse. But as we see in part 3, we kind of get into some more detail about what happened there. And part 4, we get into it a little bit more too.
Oh my god, that's horrible. Well, I contacted a paranormal investigator, but she didn't seem to help. So I'm thinking of calling a priest.
Might be worth a shot, but if you're not religious, it might make it worse.
Yeah, that's what Adeline said. But I'm getting desperate.
So am I. Maybe if we...
I don't know what happened. The camera just stopped recording. I think we mended our friendship somewhat. Probably more so out of loneliness than anything else. I don't think either of us have anyone else. Well, you might as well have a friend. Even after all she's done to me. I called the Catholic Church and asked them about getting a priest to come by to bless my apartment. They said that they'd see who's available and that they'd keep in touch. Okay, so I got a call back from the church. They said Father Leonard can come over tomorrow at 1. At 1.
So I think that's just Seer reacting to the possibility of a priest coming over. Because he doesn't seem to like the priests. Like, he even types later on the computer, he says no more priest. But, like Genesis said, the priest blessing the house didn't stop anything, so it was completely useless. So either Seer is like screwing with her by saying that he doesn't like the priest, when in reality he knows it won't do anything, or maybe it does bother him somehow, but it's not enough to get rid of the haunting.
I just really hope he can help. Honestly, it feels kind of weird to be having a priest coming over. I'm actually pretty nervous about it. But Christmas is coming up next week. I have a pretty good feeling I'm going to be spending it alone. Well, maybe not totally alone.
It's kind of funny too that we're filming this, like we filmed the entire thing, I think it was in the month of August, which is like, the summer here in Edmonton. But the story takes place over several months. So it takes place over Christmas, which naturally is in the middle of winter, so there'd be snow everywhere. So it's supposed to be Christmas, yet she's walking around and it's like obviously summer. And I'm surprised that not a single person has mentioned that. like when we were filming it, I was like, oh, like that doesn't make sense, and I figured that everyone was gonna rip on the movie for that, but no one's ever mentioned it, which is surprising. So I guess they were just so into the story that they didn't notice details like that.
What's going on with Oliver?
And here we have Oliver's being smacked around by an invisible seer.
He's either on drugs or having a seizure.
It's kind of funny too that Oliver wasn't fired or anything, because he's just like sleeping in the break room.
I just buzzed the priest in. It doesn't feel right recording him, so I'll switch off and let you guys know how it goes afterwards.
I can't remember if I ever had any plans to show the priest blessing the house. I think it was one of those things, like we would have had to find a costume and all that stuff, and I just didn't really feel like it, so we just kind of skipped over it.
Okay, I'm not sure that's gonna work, but I hope so. All he did was walk around sprinkling holy water and saying some prayer. So the church called me again. They asked if the priest stopped by, because apparently he never returned and they can't reach him. I told them he came and blessed the house, then left. So I don't know what to think about that. Okay,
And Oliver is leaving forever.
Oliver just quit. Bye, Oliver.